And what's up, everyone, and welcome to the Fortheboys podcast. Just myself on today or tonight. Sorry, the brothers have given their. Oh yeah, they just said they might not be able to make it on tonight. Maybe sometime during the show. So yeah, so shout out to everyone that's jumping on and continue to help support us by just listening. This is For the Boys podcast, where we create a safe space for the brothers, the sisters out there that are struggling, and then in the hopes with this talanoa, we get to share and help someone. We're not professionals, and usually we have like tonight's guest, a podcast specialist. So we're kind of excited, and bear with me tonight, guys. I have to be the producer, host, basically everything all in one, and it's already nerve-wracking as it is, because it's hard to talk by myself and organize stuff. So this is the first for me, and hopefully the brothers jump on throughout the show. So tonight's guest, we had a chat backstage, and we're just saying how podcasting has grown for us. Um, he's a professional. I've been watching his shows and his lives, and the brothers that are on there. Man, it's amazing what especially our people, especially us as poly Pacific Maori people out there, that can do something that's I guess at one time was out of reach. Well, that's what I thought, until you tune into YouTube, or you go and find an easy way to check your podcast on all these platforms. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring on the brother Brandon Yyen, aka Authentic Podcast NZ. This guy's a beast. So make him, round of applause. I usually have my sound system working, but yeah. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? Great to be here. And far from professional, bro. Far from it.
Hey man, it's anything. It's better than this, bro.
Nah, man. I've been watching a couple episodes, bro. You guys are doing an amazing job, and bro, it's actually an honor to be here, bro. It's excited, bro. Excited.
Oh, brother, the honor is ours. Usually have three of the other brothers on tonight, or usually every week.
Yeah.
But it's just me, and I'm just gonna have those nervous times to have a chat with you. But if you have any questions for the brother, or just in general questions for anyone, please come through. And yeah, just fire away. Before we start, who is Brandon Yyen?
Oh, good
Oh,
question.
sorry, did I
Good
pronounce your
question.
name? Your name right?
Yeah. Brandon Yyen. Yeah. There's a
Young.
two word last name. There's a
Already.
Chinese. Nah. Happens all the time, bro. Don't worry. Yeah, honestly, who I love, bro, very active. First of all, like, I love sports. I guess that's probably the first thing. I like to go out. I'm a very go with the flow. And also, like, you know love to go out. Very extroverted. That's how I am. I love being on the boys. Love socializing. And then again, I really like just chill. Watch a movie here and there. Love anime. Speaking of movies and stuff, if anyone's anime fan, you know. And yeah, basketball and rugby are my main sports. Like to eat a lot of food, trying to cut down on that, but we'll see how it goes for this coming year. And then also as well, yeah, bro, love traveling, bro. Love to go out and on adventures. I love to be able to just explore the world and see different parts of the world and different perspectives. Um, yeah, that's in a nutshell. I'm a very family orientated. Love my family. Um, and bro, just basically, other than that, another poly brother, from New Zealand. So yeah.
Um, yeah, speaking about your love for sports, bro, and with your podcast too, you've expanded into, well, at how it all started, and just the other, I think it was a couple of nights ago where you guys went live for your sports
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
how and, well, let's start from the beginning. How did the podcasting journey start for you, and the experiences around that, bro?
Bro, great question, bro. Honestly, it started when, I guess myself, I was living in the States, and I was living in Utah, going to uni up there. And while I was going to uni up there, there's in America, like the industry is pretty big. Everyone's listening to these podcasts about real estate, business, music, art, whatever it may be. And I was just over here, from New Zealand, just going to school, not doing too much. But that's when I started like listening to some, motivational podcasts about business, or whether it be about sports, and then yeah, I just thought, man, this is super cool. Then coming here, had to come back because of COVID, and being back, I also had to come back for surgery as well because I tore my ACL. So I was able to come back, have surgery, be able to fix my knee. And then while I was in that process of rehab, I was thinking to myself, man, there's something I could do um, while I'm here, because I'm not working, I'm not doing anything right now as of this moment because I'm over here bedridden right now. So I was just thinking, what can I do just on the side next couple of weeks until I recover and come back to work. I was like, oh, maybe I'll start, do a podcast, because I love talking to people, socializing, and I love networking, bro. Networking is something that's so big. And actually, networking is something I found out a lot about over there in America. And everyone networks. It's about who meeting new people. So and so knows this person, knows that person, knows that person. And then came down the line, and then I just thought, man, like maybe I should try that out. Get into podcasting. So I did my research, started with just started watching podcasts, and watching different people, different things, and watching YouTube. 100% watching YouTube, bro. trying to learn the different techniques or different ways to set up a podcast, and it just started, just I just started purchasing the equipment like um week after week, a paycheck after paycheck. So that, and then I got to the point where I had enough to actually go out and record a podcast, and that's where I started from there. And then, bro, after the first one, I was hooked. I was like, bro, this is mean, bro. Like, I'm talking to someone, I'm relating to them on a different level, getting to the, it's different because um, I feel like sometimes you can share whatever you want, like on a podcast. You can be able to share your emotions and feelings at a certain level, and it's super cool. Um, that specific aspect of it, and that's where I started from there. And then step by step, just yeah, got to a point where one episode turned to two, and and yeah, learning different. I think the learning of it was probably the most enjoyable part. Understanding your audience, understanding um, your niche, or whatever it may be, who you're trying to focus on, and yeah, and it's just been a pretty great process to be able to learn. That's yeah, yeah, that's what I would have to say.
Nice, bro. It's and to your point about how you start off a podcast and you start buying the equipment, and how crazy is it that, like, when you buy something, like, oh, I need to get this, oh shit, I need to get this,
Yeah,
like, the budget is like gets higher and higher and
bro,
higher.
that sounds yeah, hundred
And
percent, bro.
you and the shittiest thing about, like, listening to other podcasts or watching other podcasts is that, like, these guys put everything, like, obviously they have their $1 million deals or whatever with all these
Yeah, yeah,
sponsors,
yeah, yeah.
best mics, the best audio system, best cameras, and for us, like these our low budget, or sorry for just speaking on our podcast, our budget is basically like every week, oh, shit, I think
Yeah,
I've got enough to get this,
yeah.
enough
Enough
to
to
get
get it,
that.
you know?
And then you see all these other podcasts, you're watching it like, I think I want that. I want exactly that lighting, or I need this LED, I need that mic, and this is how I got this one, because I was like watching all these like big podcasts. Like, man, oh man, I've been making mistakes every time I buy a mic, and three or four mics later, and I'm hoping this lasts for a couple of years because the bank account
Bro, you
dried
look
up.
at the bank, and you're like, dang, I really cleared my check this week.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Podcasting is I they make it well. It's I'm not saying that if you're out there and you're wanting to start a podcast, it's like, I guess, personal preference. If you
yeah.
want something to upgrade, and I've learned that now because I started off with as a $55 mic. It is
Mm.
when you Google podcast setup, and
Yeah, yeah.
and you look at, oh, this looks good. And you buy the best, the cheapest boom,
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
the mic, and you get the plug and play, and then, bro, you watch the next podcast, like, now I'll upgrade the mic, I'll upgrade and get it. Man, this is me every week, and then the wife's like looking, bro, where are you getting all this money from, bro?
Bro, 100%, bro, 100%. Like, just the process of it, and then like when you watch your podcast, you're like, oh yes, I know what I need now. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add that. And then sooner or later, you don't really realize it until you actually see the receipt, and you're like, dang, that much. And I just keep looking at it as like, man, good thing New Zealand has afterpay and lay-by, and then I was like,
Exactly. Lay by, afterpay. I probably can name all of them, but I don't want to out myself now. When you go through, like, I think I've got a budget to pay, well, maybe $15 a week. Let's go through that
yeah.
budget, and then you're like, oh man, they didn't have afterpay. Oh man, they didn't have lay-by. Like, screwed.
Yeah, bro. But it's I think what's amazing, especially for all the podcasters around, like especially in New Zealand, like those who are starting off, and you could see yourself, if you look back and you could see that, man, like to see where you started from, and then till you keep going, then you see the progression that you made. Because my thing is like, I honestly thought that it would be plug and play, easy, talk to the person, just about whatever may be, and then you slowly realize that, dang, like it's like you want quality, you want that good content, and it's gonna take quality equipment at times. But it's super cool to just learn those little moments of learning. You can see yourself progressing, and like we were talking about making mistakes, bro. I feel like that's the only way for us to learn, is like slowly make mistakes, and then I remember when I did my first podcast, and my family watched it. They're just roasting me, like, man, you need to do this, that. I was like, gee, relax, it's the first one. Yo, come on, like, it's the first one. Just slowly, I'll get there. Yeah.
Bro, that's exactly how I feel even when I listen to myself on my podcast, because you have to try and edit some of the audio before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just editing. I'm like, just then I turn off the edit. I don't edit it. I just like leave it. A
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
of days later, I come back and I'm like, I just hate to hear my voice. And our first, or well, probably our third ever episode we done. We have it up on our Instagram page, and I think we left it there just so we knew, like what you just said, through mistakes or
Yeah.
through like the hard times of learning something.
Mm-hmm.
How far have we traveled, or even if we haven't learned anything, but and in life, with podcasts again, we're comparing ourselves, we're looking to better ourselves, and what better way to
Yeah.
do it is compare ourselves with all these, American or these top podcasts like Joe Rogan, and no one
Mm,
comes close to this dude. This guy, can sit down with any person and have a four five
bro,
hour chat.
5 hour long talk, bro.
So,
Yeah.
I guess it's a plus for us for just the page, our Insta page where we're sitting down and, bro, who knows what the hell we're talking about? Looking at him like, bruh. So,
Yeah. If you think about it, because I was like just thinking about like what you said about Joe Rogan, it starts from that first podcast. Because I think he's like what, like 1700 right now or something like that. Like, bro, he's had heaps of podcasts, and just think about the point where he's at, where he had one podcast towards when he had 1700. Like, bro, no, like this guy, 1700 episodes of like an average of 1 hour conversations.
yeah,
Like, bro, that's you're bound to be like really professional at that point, with all the mistakes of learning he's probably made, just at a point now he's at a point where like his podcasts are just phenomenal, bro, and it's just amazing to watch. So yeah,
yeah, bro. And he gets better too. So with his guest, it
yeah,
just doesn't like it. The way you listen to him is, it's like he doesn't he knows everything. And that's who I go. When you think about like facts, like I go to him and I'm like, oh, is that true? And he's like, having these arguments. I'm like, okay, that sounds, it sounds legit. And
sounds
then I go up and
legit.
spread, yeah, I spread his his words. Oh, no, and how did you know? Oh, but really, I was just listening. But shout out to the chat. We got Isaac, Sapos, and Afokasi Scoop. They were just saying, oh, Isaac's one. Afterpay is the way. Always the way. Get those gears. And very hard. Afokasi Scoop. Find story later. That's always
It's
the
the
case,
war
eh?
later, eh? It's the war later.
Bro, you spent your time overseas, living abroad or in the States.
Mm.
For you, where did you grow up, and where was your childhood memories? Where did that all start for you, bro?
Childhood memories. So most of my, so a lot of people don't really know, but I was actually born in the States, eh? Um, when my parents were over there. So my dad's from Samoa and mom's from New Zealand, and they were going to up in school in Hawaii, and they moved down to Utah, and then they had a couple of us there, and then they moved to New Zealand, and then so most of my memories are in Auckland, here in South Auckland. Straight Mangry boy. Just I'm growing up, and here in South Auckland. Yeah, most of my memories have been here. The family, my surroundings, the bakeries, everything like here. It's just, yeah, that's where most of my memories have been made. Were growing up, were in South Auckland. So yeah, those are ones that you look back and you could leave and always come back. So when I went there, came back and I'm driving around South Auckland, every time I come, it's like, man, it's always good you know, to be back. Late nights and hear the sirens. It's like, yeah.
Hear the helicopter, hear the helicopter
hear, the-
around, and
hear the
doesn't
chopper.
and the sirens. Nah, that's the memories, bro. For us as well, grew up around in South Auckland, not around Otara. So yeah, bro, just uh the sirens, like it's at night times and it's non-stop. You kind of get
Yeah,
used to that sort of that
yeah.
sort of stuff.
You
And
get used to it,
bro,
bro.
with your and you made a move to go overseas and do uni there. How was that? Was that just normal for you to kind of go back or go back to the States, and or was there stuff that you kind of
Hmm.
I guess doing uni, it's a bigger biggest
Yeah,
step to
yeah.
go and do it by yourself or with family? How was that, bro?
That process was pretty mean. Like, um, yeah, for myself, I wanted to go out and to, I guess, get a different perspective on, I guess, on education and on life in general. Because sometimes, I guess, not saying it's bad to be in New Zealand for those who come to school here. I'm just saying, like, I guess for me personally, I just wanted to explore. I wanted to go see a different part of the world. Um, and education sometimes, like, people have different opinions and different perspectives, and it's nice to get like different multiple perspectives on life and on education and wherever you go. So, because you can take all of that into experience, right, and apply it to your own life. So, I guess for me, going there was amazing, and like I'm trying to plan to go back in a couple months. See, just to go see there, because my I have a sister who's going to uni over there in Hawaii. So it'd be nice to go visit her, and just to be able to go to somewhere else and educate yourself. I guess 3 4 years. You can always come back home. And then use those different perspectives and experiences and apply it to your life when you come back home. So that's generally how I was thinking about it, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny feeling to kind of, for me, I haven't done any schooling overseas, but just flying over to a different country and the whole the culture shock, and like you just, it's everything you see on TV, and then you go there and you see it in person. Like it changes how you think and how you understand the place. So don't want to make this about me, but
Yeah, yeah,
doing a
no,
bit
no,
of
you good.
travel, doing a bit of traveling back in my younger days with my partner, and we all had this kind of expectations, or these these high expectations of going overseas, and um you know flying over to states, and all you see was shit on TV, and you go there, and it's a lot different because obviously you're there physically and you see the change. um it kind of, yeah, like you said, it just opens up this new perspective on life.
Mm.
um you're learning as you go, and that's basically how life is. If you're not learning, you're not bettering yourself, I guess. um did you spend the three years in over there as well before you came back, or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was there yeah, for 2 3 yeah 2 years 2 years I was there. Yeah. 2 years there, came back. I always come back and visit the fam, and on the holidays, when I could. It's pretty cool, and also, like, there's also a lot of Kiwis out there traveling now. I'm going to uni there. Like, I when I was there was a couple girls from Hamilton who were playing basketball for a college down the road from mine, and it was pretty cool, just to find other Kiwis there, and that you never would have met if you didn't go. So it was pretty mean. So yeah, and if, for those who are watching, bro, like, bro, I bet you there's Kiwis everywhere in the USA.
Yeah.
Probably little spots over there that they're hiding or waiting to come back home. So
So you planning on going back to visit? Is that to Hawaii?
yeah, hopefully Hawaii, because my sister's there, but probably go maybe go back. Sorry, probably go back to Utah in a couple months. So yeah, see how that goes, and then come visit. I'll be there for a year, see how things go. So yeah, that's the plan. Oh, that's the plan right now, to see, right, as of right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice, bro. That's you know, it's a bit scary, knowing these times are different to what it was
Yeah,
when everything was open, bro. And for you to, I guess, make a move during, like, what the media is saying is, hard times. But I was watching, oh sorry, listening to a podcast, and how in the states, a lot of the media have been saying, oh, it's like everybody's dying, this COVID is attacking, most of the places, and then you have these, like, it's a small podcast. I forget the name, and they go, it's basically like normal here. Nobody's like,
Yeah.
COVID is not actually that bad, like as what the media say. So, and I guess the same. Yeah, don't want to get too political, and just want to say how the media, kind of changes the narrative of
Hmm.
wanting to make a move or move out of over the overseas and do those little things.
Yeah, bro. Facts, bro. Honestly, like it's just, and I feel like it's just the way the media, and I'm not trying to say that. Um, I guess I don't know. I guess we could be depending on how we are facing it right now, and whatever your thoughts on that. But um, yeah, just how the media can has such a grasp and control, especially the main platforms. You know, then that's I guess that's one of the beauties of podcasting. Just we're not bound by those mainstream medias, and we're able to freely talk our thoughts and our opinions on things. You know, um, just on that, like I feel because on my stories, I see all my friends that are in the States and they're over here, going to football games, NBA games, all these other games. And that's way more than, a couple hundred people, and they got way more people. They got, but they're probably like quadruple or 10 times more as much people than we have here in New Zealand. We're probably like, what, 5 million, 6 million here in Aotearoa. Over there, there's probably like, what, 300, 400 million people living there in the States, and they're over here watching, games and stuff like that. Um, and even though we have the highest percentage, right, in vaccines and stuff, there's still like, some sort of restrictions. And yeah, honestly, it's just depending on how us. I don't know. I'm not trying to. I feel like I'm getting political on it, but I'm not trying to get political on it. Just
But yeah, yeah, I get you. Yeah, no, it is. It's just you can kind of compare it to the world, even though like COVID's going to be there.
no
It's
matter
always
what,
going
bro.
to be around, and there's always going to be a new strand of COVID, and it's just gonna, I guess, multiply. And yeah, it's just life. And I guess from what I was saying is that you're making they will call it bold moves now, like going back,
Yeah,
going over to the States. So nah, bro, be good to see that journey, and as you continue your podcast. Uh, Back to your podcast, bro. What was the most expensive equipment you ever got, or you've gotten?
um, let's see. Honestly, the most expensive piece I got was the board. Got the when I saved up for the Roadcaster Pro.
Nice.
Um, and bro, that was a big dent in the wallet. I'm over here doing research, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the board. This is the board." I'm like, just because it minimalizes so much,
uh,
with being
Everything
able to,
all in one, right?
bro, everything in one. You can do anything and all in one, and and it's so nice and it's so easy, light, you know. Um, but yeah, because I started with the two mics and a small audio interface, and I'll plug it in, and I'll do my edits on GarageBand, and that's how I was doing my first couple episodes. And then I was like, bro, this like it's harder because it's yeah, I was just thinking to myself, man, like, I have an audio interface, I have this plug in, like it's the audio sounds all right, like then I was like, man, I need to make an investment to make this better because I was spending so much time editing the audio, the best I could, to my knowledge. And then when I got the board, I was like, bro, like, this just makes everything easy. Audio sounds good. Don't I can clean up a little bit here and there. But other than that, it was mean, yeah, it was just good. Yeah, and that I think for me it was a dent, but it was a good dent. It was
Yeah.
reasonable, and it was for an investment. That I was making an investment on that, and now it turned out okay. It turned out well, and it just puts a lot of ease. When I do podcasting. So that was probably it for me. So yeah.
Um, and I think along the same lines, that's in the crew. We're thinking of what to, kind of spend our money on
Yeah,
for, like, just for podcasting itself. And we were looking at that too, bro. The Rodecaster Pro, is it?
yeah, yeah,
Rode.
yeah.
Um, and then there was that, and there was the Podtrack P8 Zoom.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's basically around the same amount. And just, every time in the wish list of Trade Me, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get you one day. I'm gonna get you one day. And then
You're
I
gonna
guess
be
this is
mine.
probably the best time for me to plug in our sponsors, who is at Mass Familiar, or the Mace family, who's, they've been amazing, and they've come on board, and I guess gotten taken care of just some of our stuff financially, and they've been amazing. So at Mask Familiar, they used to supply masks. At the moment, they've stepped away from that, and they're I guess chasing something, uh, some other dream. But we want to say thank you to the Mace family, aka Mask Familiar. So yeah, they came on board, and they said, look, well, how can we improve our audio? Because, bro, if you go back and listen to our audio, bro, it's like, oh, bro, it was a nightmare, man. And
Bruh.
most of the time it was me, bro. And one of the usos, he comes through, he goes, bro, we have to clean up these audios, because it's hard for people to listen to. And
Yeah,
I didn't click, and it was on me. I should have gotten, and not even use a mic, man. I should have just used just an earpiece, because that would have been way better than the mic I was using, because it used to just, guess
just
not
move
enough
around.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't, plug and play, and it'll just, yeah, stuff up. But touch wood, nothing like that ever happened. And bro, just touching on editing audio, bro. Yeah, these interfaces now, like, it's so easy if you spend the money, and
yeah.
it just, basically cleans it.
Cleans it so much, bro.
So
Yeah, because one thing about the board is like, not sponsored by Rodecaster, but just speaking about the board, it's nice because you can already choose what mic that's plugged in, and then that will kind of adjust what like everything for that mic, and then also as well, like they would have different um they'll have different audio processing uh like ways, buttons that you can use to be able to process your audio wherever you're at and whatever type of podcast you're doing. So it's been very helpful way, to be honest. So
bro, that's a lot better than having to pick out each person's audio. Brings like, gosh, change this, change that. But um and I think you touched on, you got injured overseas, came back for your operation, is it your ACL?
yeah, yeah, ACL, bro, ACL. Yeah, yeah.
I've had uh three knee reconstructions,
Dang.
two on the left and one on the right. The first one, um I thought that I could go back a bit earlier, not like within the 6 months. This is how, back then. But I went for a walk, just went for a walk, and they said, you got to do some exercise, because you're either going to lose a bit of weight, put on weight, or you're, mentally you're not gonna, it's gonna be hard. So, I
Yeah,
went for a
yeah,
walk, bro. Just this little crack in the ground, bro. I just had a little, looked like a sidestep, but it tore that same ligament in
oh
that same knee. So I thought it was just a little pinch. I was like, oh no, I should be right. But the pain of snapping your
yeah,
ligament is like you've just broken your whole leg.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that happened for me, and bro,
Oh
it was I. But it's not until like a couple of months later that I thought the rehab for me was quite good. And then when I was told I could do the running, I, like, any little movement, I just buckle, and I was
yeah,
wondering why. I just thought I'll blame it on the specialist. And then when I went back to physio said, "Oh, you've you need a you need to go for another operation." So, hey, But anyway, I just want to talk about your experience, Brad.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
that
yeah.
happened for you.
Bro, mine, like I've been injured a lot, while playing rugby. Um, I've had I dislocated both of my thumbs, my pinky, broken my ankle, and then also like had a labrum repair surgery, for my shoulder. So, yeah, injuries, and I've had a lot of injuries, in my like while playing, and I guess the biggest one was my ACL because I've always come back, and out of injury, it's fine, it gets 100%. So for me, like this one was a big one, because I think I was playing with no ACL for like a year and a half. So I didn't really have one, and then I was like, when I had a surgery, talked to my surgeon, he's like, yeah, yeah, so you don't even really have one right now. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, wow. So you're telling me I've been playing basketball and rugby with nothing? So, and then
Must
he,
be all
he
the
just,
guns on there, eh? Those muscles, eh? Because you can go on without it. It's just you got to have
yeah,
the muscle built up around it to support.
yeah, yeah.
That just goes to show I don't have any muscles. So thanks, bro. Thanks
Nah,
for
it's
throwing
just,
me under.
I was like, bro, I was just shocked there. And then he told me, he's like, if you really want to be serious and, take care of your body and, for the future, you should get the surgery done. Um, get it to 100%, and then, it'll be better for, longevity wise, just for you, for your health. So I was like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. So got the surgery, and because I've been in so many surgeries, I've just always loved it when they knock me out with the with the narcotics and stuff, put in my system, because they always say, okay, count to 10. And I was like, 1, 2, 3,
Gone burgers.
4, and then you're gone, bro. And I'm like, bro, that's always the buzziest part when you wake up from the surgery, like, just barely waking up. But it's so funny, bro. And from then on, like, just in the bed, it was hard. Just staying in bed all the time. Someone has to come help you. You really like it's just weird, For those who haven't been injured, congratulations or never surgery. But bro, it's just the fact of like feeling useless, you know, just
Yeah,
feeling
bro.
helpless.
Like
It's just hard.
helpless. Helpless is the main, like you said. Injuries are part of like sporting and like just
Yeah, yeah.
sports in general. And I think even though like I went for those three knee reconstructions, I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
worst one for me was going through breaking my ankle. That like
Oh,
kind of,
bro.
especially at a time where I was having my first kid.
Yeah.
Um, I'm off work. And I thought, as a rugby player, or just uh, just being below average at playing rugby, but you want to, in your mind, you think you can play more rugby. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is what's going through my head, and then having to break my ankle and set me off. Like I had to take, ACC in New Zealand is pretty good, so
Yeah,
I'm not
it's pretty
complaining
good.
about that. Mentally, the hard part about coming back from these injuries is that at some point, and you're probably a young fellow, but for myself, 30, what I think it was like 29. Yeah, yeah, 29, should be retired already, but just thinking of, shit, I want to play, or at least play some social kind of footy or
Yeah, yeah.
touch. Nah, man, that you had to it come that time had come to say, this is the sign. Step away from any sports, bro. You're just injury prone. And I guess for me during that time, like I started drinking a lot, bro.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
drinking got to me, the eating, and because I wasn't doing any training, like I was blaming everything else except myself. that
Mm.
I should be changing myself first in order for myself to get better for me, not only me, my wife, and also the kids. So having that hard time there, it was pretty life changing. It was life changing for myself. So how did you overcome, like, I guess the injuries and the setbacks, and coming back from it?
Um, I think for me, like that's probably what the biggest thing is, because looking back, there's been a lot of people when I did get it, tell people I was getting my ACL surgery. A lot of people were telling me, "Oh man, you're not gonna be able to play sports anymore," or "Oh man, you're not gonna be able to do this anymore, do that anymore." And I was just like, "Bro, like, what are you doing, bro? Just." In my mind, I'm like, "Don't tell me, don't tell me I'm not gonna play sports again. I'm gonna continue playing sports." Just it was just like I
That's the
think it
hardest
wasn't
part,
just
right?
yeah,
Like
it's
someone
just
else telling that you're not gonna ever play, you're not gonna be that person you were, where you think you're
yeah,
good.
yeah. And that's the thing is like it's other people telling you, like what you can do, like what you're not gonna do. And for me, I was like, bro, like no offense, but you can't tell me what to do. That's I was in my mind. I was like, so just doing research, and I was like, come on, man, I'm pretty sure like it's possible, and it is, like if you think about it, like there's so many athletes who do come back from ACL surgeries, from this surgery,
Or,
from Achilles
uh,
surgery, you know, and then you ask them why, and it's been a lot of major athletes who come back to sports, NBA, NFL, rugby, and then you look and you're like, if they can do it, I can do it too. And so while I was going through the process, I was just seeing, man, it's all about the rehab. It's all about the rehab. And that's what the physio said, that the surgeon was saying, that everyone was saying, that it's all about the rehab. And then so in my mind, I'm like, dude, like, okay, it's the rehab. You know, I gotta do it. I gotta take time and strengthen my knee and strengthen and do it properly. If I do that, and within the time amount I have, I can come back. And I guess that was my goal. Is like I've already set myself. I already told myself in my mind that I'm gonna be able to come back better than I was before, or like I'm gonna be able to make my knee strong as my other one. Um, and it's possible. You just gotta put the work and the effort in, eh? And I think that was the point for me, to be honest.
uh, and to your point, bro, how you have to train your mind,
Yeah.
um, mind to kind of be that mental space in your head where you're like, I can do it, man. I can do it. This person did it. This person, like, this is, and that's how I done it too with my knee. I just thought, these rugby players were like still the best
Mm.
players, even though they've had a surgery, even though they've had so many injuries. You just tell yourself, I can do better. I can do this better. I
Hmm.
can do that, and still failed for myself. Still went for 3 surgeries later. You're like, oh man. I'm sure the surgeon's like, bruh, give up, mate. Give your knee to someone else, bro. They can. um,
Oh, do I back again?
bro, this is not it's not a dairy. You can just come every week and think you can fix your knee, but and I guess the funny part now, being a bit older, is that when you go for your like insurance, and
Yeah.
they say, "Oh, tell me what life insurance. Tell me any injuries," and I'm like, "Oh, nah." And then, okay, how about your knee? I was like, "Oh, oh yeah, there's 3 there. Okay, anywhere else?" I was like, "Nah." And then they go through like parts of your body, like, "How about your ankle?" I was like, "Oh yeah, my ankle," and you just like it keeps popping up because you forget about it, but yet
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the back of your head, you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, I've done this, I've done that."
Yeah, yeah.
That yeah, and then even funnier when the lady that's talking over the phone, she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
for real? You've done this, you've done that." I'm like, I'm thinking, shit, I don't think they're gonna give me any kind of insurance for the injuries I have. Um bro. Let's talk about sports, man. Because since we're professionals, we've gone through all that NRL. Because you guys have been on that topic. Who do you support, brother?
Let's see. So other people are probably gonna hate me, but just good old bandwagon of Panthers, eh? No, it's just I think
Is it day one or day one Panthers?
nah, not day one. Yeah, I'm more like I love to watch rugby or sport, and I guess starting the podcast actually got me like I knew about NRL, but wasn't really into it as I am now. Only
Yeah,
because doing the podcast, right? And having the other Maui and Isaac on the podcast with me, like they've actually helped me know more about it and more interest, because I like those guys are more of like them and my other boys that we chat about for the podcast. They're usually the big NRL guys. I'm more of like the rugby guy. More union and stuff. So
speaking my language, bro. You're speaking my language with that rugby.
yeah, bro. As far as NRL, like um yeah, I'll honestly say I think the Panthers, honestly, because there's a couple Samoan in there, you got all in there, and all in there, and then also they won, so But as
You're
far as
sporting
rugby,
winners, bro.
yeah,
We're sporting winners, bro.
support winners where they are.
Yeah, I follow St. George Dragons, so Illawarra
Oh
Dragons.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I was only off the back of my brother.
yeah.
Um, he's a staunch St. George Dragons supporter. But he'd like wear their jerseys, do everything, man. And I was like, man, this must be the club I'll follow. This is during the years of Trent Barrett, Gasnier, um, Cooper, um, and then I think 2 years later, they went on to win their first ever championship.
Mm.
Got the NRL ring. And then people were saying, bro, bandwagon. I was like, bro, I was there 2 years ago. I was telling them, yeah, oh, bro, I'm not bandwagon. Like, I actually was supporting them 2 years ago. Probably not
Yeah,
as vocal now that they're in the vote. Yeah, bro, I'm on that. I'm on that train.
on there right
Uh,
now.
uh, but okay, going over to rugby, bro. What do you reckon? What's your thoughts on the World Rugby changing the eligibility ruling?
I think it's huge, bro, especially for our Pacific brothers out there um playing rugby for former national teams or whatever teams they play for or clubs. I think it just helps them be able to come and represent their country. I think it's going to open up a lot of flexibility and different competition for the other big teams. So it'll be interesting to see what would happen. For this upcoming World Cup. This will be mean. Excited, bro. Excited. It'll be good. It's good for a lot of players who've wanted to come play for their country but couldn't. So I think that's where what I would probably have to say for that.
Yeah, it's because it's a 3 year stand down.
Yeah, 3 year stand
Yeah,
down,
and there's a lot that can change within the 3 years. That only
bro.
that's the
There's
only
heaps,
problem.
bro.
I kind of that's what I was thinking of. Like, even though like you'll get the peak performance out of say these tier one, uh, All Blacks, England, Australia, all these tier one teams. So obviously they'll pick players at their peak,
Yeah,
and then um they then move on and like obviously you push to the side because then another player has come through the ranks, and then they're now thinking, do I have another shot at making the All Blacks or making the Wallabies, or should I stand down for 3 years, make the
mm,
move away from New Zealand rugby, go overseas, and whatever money they're making there. and it's a lot of money there too, and overseas. So you then can go play for your home country, or where your parents are from. Yeah, it's a hard one because that 3 year stand on. It's a good um, it's a start, I guess,
Mm,
because at some point it needed a change. We needed
yeah.
us polys needed that kind of that push.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's why you see so many other teams getting better. To be honest, like if you look how they disperse all of our players are around the world, playing for different countries, around the world. It's just amazing, to see them go out and play there, and make good money there. Because honestly, like if you think about it, there's so much competition in New Zealand, and it's hard to get a spot. If you're trying to play rugby, and you're in New Zealand, bro, you gotta be the best. Like you have to be good, and you can't just be good. Like you have to be, better than good to be the best. And it's hard because there's so much competition and there's so much great players here that New Zealand can only pick, one or two of the position. Um, and then but you can't pick them for long, because then they always see your performance and then they want to pick someone else. Like for New Zealand, like the field is ready for them to pick wherever they want. But I guess now with this rule, it changes that fact. Like people can go overseas, get good money, get paid for more than playing in New Zealand. Like I've had some mates who got some offers to go play in the US. And if they jump on board, bro, like it's gonna go off. Because they have money, and money talks. And like if you think about it, you can afford to not accept a six figure salary to play in America where they pay for everything, and and like
Bro,
the
hard.
rugby is, even though rugby is probably not as at that level as over here, but you're getting
Yeah,
paid, that much to just play there. So
yeah.
it's
Get
just
them.
it's just
Hey,
yeah.
it's how you want to, like, the dream. Everyone. In New Zealand. Sorry, this is for anyone that's listening out there, or at a later stage get to jump on. Now we're from New Zealand, and the dream here, if you're a rugby player, or as a kid, man, we've always known one thing, and if you are a young boy, you see the All Blacks as the pinnacle. But as I guess it's changing now because we see a lot of other sports, or other codes, like fighting, like MMA. Their
Yeah.
role model changing. So that's a good thing for us New Zealanders now. But as a kid, the pinnacle was the All Blacks. So seeing that, and then now in this day and age, money is getting thrown around like left, right, and center, to all these young players coming through the rank, and then then we have like basically the best players in New Zealand wanting to play for the All Blacks, push their market value up, and then hopefully at the
Yeah.
end of their career, or towards,
They can
letting
go
go of
and
Jersey, they then move to overseas, where the money is. And I think, in this kind of example was Piutel. He was still at the peak, bro, and he
yeah,
didn't
bro.
get made the move. And look at him, bro. He's basically $1 million player,
Bro, he's
but see,
he
he's
gets
still
paid big bucks.
and he's still carving up. So whether we didn't see his potential, his full potential, with the black jersey on, now he gets the opportunity to go and represent Tonga, and he's been
Hmm.
the advocate for Pacific Island players going back. Um,
Yeah.
you know, uh, uh, I forgot the name of this Facebook group I was following, and they were huge advocates for this big change. But man, it's like you said, bro. It's interesting times ahead for us because we get to understand
Yeah,
whether
bro.
the rule makes a difference, or how far ahead are we with all these tier one teams.
100, bro. 100. It's gonna be good for everywhere around the world. Just not only for us New Zealanders and Pacific Islanders, but it's gonna be good for rugby. I think, because it's what a lot of the people wanted, you know, and it's what a lot of the players want. And now they have this opportunity, so it's pretty cool to see that it's going to change a lot, you know.
Bro. 100%, bro. And it's always and that's definitely a win. Definitely a win for
Yeah,
us. You know, we get to see the likes of, like I said, Puto. We got some of the Samoan brothers that are, you know, put their hand up to go and represent. So, bro, the World Cup's going to be, you're going to be seeing some of these either really good players, or, you know, some of the players at the back end of their career.
yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see the combinations and different types of teams that's gonna be in the World Cup, and it's gonna be good to see a lot of great competition. To be honest, not just see the same old couple teams. You know, it's gonna be good.
Just got a comment from the boss man. If my son ended up playing league when they're older, I would sit down with him and outline all the options available to him, including playing overseas. Yeah,
Hundred
bro.
percent, bro. 100%. Yeah, I, bro. That's I. I feel like that. I think you're right. Going back to that point about every kid's dream is to play for the All Blacks. You know, and that's the whole idea. Like, it doesn't matter about the pay or whatever, but they just want to play for the All Blacks just to say you can play for the All Blacks. And that's 100% true. Like, if you have the ability to go play for All Blacks, go play for All Blacks. But um, just sometimes the system here can really, you know, kind of cripple you in that rugby career, because if you're living in New Zealand, that's your goal, is to get to play club, then go on to Super 15, or go on for Mitre 10, and then you keep going up, and then you can go for the Blues or go for the Super 15. Then you can go up to, you know, hopefully get selected to be an All Black, and then you can play international rugby. But we got to the point where, you know, they keep all their players here, and just and then have different rules of playing for different teams, and now with that gone, like, you can go and, you know, just make some good money, or make some, like, take care of yourself. If you think
Yeah,
about it, like, rugby is not an easy sport. Like, you get injured a lot. Like, and you're going out there every day, and you have to take time to take care of your families, take care of
yep.
yourself, take care of your body, and you need money for those things. You know, so yeah, it's probably one of the probably most underpaid sports, to be honest. You know, in some parts of the world. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've never made the All Blacks, so I don't know that kind of, you know, the dream was there, but, you know, breaking the bones in the body shattered it. But I think, like Lance said, you know, at this day and age, um, money is there
Yeah,
if you're a good enough player. And just had a talk with my sister and my nephew. He goes well, and the agents that do come around and, you know, kind of entice these players, give them something for free. You know, he's not at the age of signing with an agency yet, but um, his family is now making the move over to Australia. Even though I think haven't had that conversation with him, but you know, he started off with league, then went to rugby league, just having kind of um everything at your disposal. Like, you know, if you send your CV in, and your CV has all these great rugby clips or league clips, you can get picked up. Like the man SJ, you know, Sean Johnston,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he sent the CV into the Warriors, and the man, and, you know, as they say, they're one of ones. You know, they're the best, so they know they can do that. So with these, you know, agencies trying to lure players, lure these young kids in, um, having the money to do it, and then you have, like, you know, for example, some of these families that can't provide these little
Uh,
things, so they throw like boots at them or gear, and then all of a sudden they're signing with this agency that they don't know anything about. and then they get undercut, or they don't get the money that they're kind of not promised, but like verbally agreed on,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna be playing for the All Blacks. So there's these little things that, like for example, All Blacks, they've selected, there's quite a, well, maybe a handful. I can't recall that, or I don't have the facts for that, but they've selected players once, and it's taken them out to play for the likes of Samoa, or the likes of
Yeah, yeah,
Tonga, and that's,
yeah.
you kind of, is it a strategic move to,
Honestly, like, yeah, I feel like it can be at times because like they all want to play for, like, a lot of people in New Zealand want to play for them. That's not like, and I don't think it's got to do with the money as per se. I think it's got to do with like the reputation, because when you play for the All Blacks, like, you become an All Black, and once you're an All Black, everyone's gonna know you're an All Black. Your price goes up when you go overseas, so that's gonna add towards your resume, and that's gonna
true,
add to your
true.
your accolades, and vice versa. It's gonna be good for you and your family, but um like the thing is, once they sign, the All Blacks can pick like, they can pick who they want to play or not. You know, like, once you're there, like, it's kind of similar to like league. Like, when you sign, like, do you have your first string, second string, third string, and then, like, you don't really play until like the person above you is injured, and then you have to find another slot. You come up, and then
Yeah,
you don't know how long you're gonna be in that string. You know, and there's been numerous of times where people have that have happened to them. They can't play for a team because of their contract, but the team's not playing them. They're in this situation where, well, I'm not doing anything right now. I'm not even gonna be able to get some game time. I can't do this and that. So it puts this big struggle on a couple of players, and it's just hard for them and for their families, because most families rely on their kids to be able to get to that point where you can make good money with playing sport, and they can help the whole family. And it's, yeah, it's just a difficult thing to touch on. Whereas
yeah,
if you
true.
line up all the options, like what Lance talked about, there's multiple options for you to take. There's different routes now in rugby than ever before. You can go to different parts of the world, sign with Japan, or go sign over here, wherever it may be internationally. Go to America, go to Europe, go to different club, go to Australia. Australia needs players. Australia needs some better quality players. You can make it there. But it's just saying, like, you can make moves, to better your position, and to honestly help your family in the future. So yeah, that's what I think some families need to realize as well, is like, don't just shoot at the first deal you get. There's a lot of other pathways you can see, but that comes when you and yourself, um that comes at a price, and you have to understand that you have to look at what you and your family want to do and go that route. So
Yeah, bro, that makes a lot of sense. Um, so sorry, just again, question or comment from Lance. Me and one of the boys signed to a local province when we were 18, but we could have gone overseas too. But most of those will stayed home because they don't want to leave our families. Yeah, that's another great comment from the boss man. And that kind of changes the whole dynamics of things when at a, I know, it depends what age, or maybe age is not a factor in this, because some, like, just people in general, like family members in general, like I know that have moved overseas, uh you know putting sporting aside, they moved overseas, making a trying to make a better life for their kids, and then come back to New Zealand because circumstances changes. At the same time, now you have to switch that to as a kid, where you're 17, 18, like Lance said, you get this contract, go overseas by yourself. The family's like, yeah, you can do this, you can do this,
yeah.
and it's only going to be a matter of time. If you're poly or you're Maori, being around family is basically the is what makes you you, because you know your family's going to be there. Now you've left
Mm,
the homestead
Yeah.
to do that. So, and we've also touched on this with another brother who was on the podcast, Lone Lone Toiloa. He said the same thing too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he had to make he had to leave home to come back and feed the family, and he's actually, I guess, on a better path as for what I was just saying. He's there and he's still living there. He's still painting. He's paving the way for the youngins. So, bro, this is there's a lot of people that do really good things, but they need their families at the back of them.
Yeah. 100%, bro. I think, bro, everything you said is facts. Um, and I think a lot of people just don't realize how much that has an influence on them and their families. Because like what you said, they're doing all that, and it's so much sacrifice, for the individual, the player. Um, so like going back is like you got to make decisions based on, if you're doing it for your family, then cool, do it for your family. But if you're doing it for yourself, think of what's best for you, but also think what's best for you and your family together,
Mm,
right? Because when you're making all those decisions, right, like there's a lot of things you have to make. Like if your family does end up like thinking about moving with your family, like do you have enough to move with them, and pay for everything, find a new place, find a transportation, maybe you have a little brother or sister, they need to go to school, right? Then the other person needs to get a job, they have to pay for this and this. So you got to think it logically, but also you got to think of it, rationally. And um, yeah, you just have to think about it um, to the point. And part of it is just focusing on what you want. Because I feel like those pros and cons is just that's gonna end up making your decision easier for you, based on what you want to do. So
bro, that's it. And sorry, there's a comment from Facebook. Weighing your pros and cons in all situations at the same time. Make sure you don't have more cons than pros, bro. 100%. Um, Also another comment from the boss man. One of the cool stories is the Toko underboss who went straight to Japan out of school. Appreciate the perspective and your experiences also. Yeah, bro. Like even that, like leaving from school and making a big change, right? Like just taking that leap,
yeah,
and like yourself, you would have went overseas at a young age to change,
yeah,
I guess, your whole dynamic of like just changing your perspective on life. You've moved to a different country, and then all of a sudden, boom, all these little things that you thought, oh, bro, this is not how we do it back home, but it's because it's
yeah,
it's a different norm for you. So
yeah.
like Lance, bro, it's he hit it on the head, and that the toko from I'm not too sure if you know the underboss Toko Fale. He owns his gym.
Mm,
Whereabouts? Yeah, I follow his stories too, and he's a good dude. But
yeah,
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 like everyone's got that I guess that motivation to chase the money or chase the dream. And like you said, you know, you got to weigh it up. Is it going to be
yeah,
good for me and money, or do I have to sacrifice these little maybe setbacks
yeah,
to achieve these goals?
yeah. One thing that one thing that came to my mind is, one of Will Smith. He does those talks, right, to those motivational speeches and talks. And one of the things he says is like when talking about dreams, and goals and visions, he talks about how when you're chasing your dream and chasing what you want in life, it's gonna be a lonely, solitary, and it's gonna be a hard decision to make. So emphasize on when he says lonely and hard, and um, it's a lonely, hard, and solitary like type of
Wow.
position. Like it's a path, like that path, right? And that path is gonna be a hard path to take, and you're gonna be at a point where like you have to, if that's your goal, bro, like you have to take that path, and it's gonna be hard. Like when you sign up for like if you're gonna sign up for the job, bro, you have to do it, you know.
Yep.
And it's gonna take time, it's gonna take work, it's gonna take blood, sweat, and tears. But I tell you this, at the end of the day, like it's gonna be amazing, and you're gonna look back and be like grateful for that. Um, so whatever decision that the player would make or whoever makes it for your, either for yourself or for your family, just understand that if it's gonna be best for you and your family, just understand that dream is gonna take some sacrifice, and it's gonna come at a cost, and you have to pay that cost no matter what, right? And when you do, it's gonna turn out for the best.
Bro, and just touching on that, man, we've come to that part of the show where we share something like a positive, or just something that you want to um share with family and friends out there. I just off the back of what you just said, bro, without even saying it, um sometimes to become successful at whatever you're doing, you'll be going through a lot of or millions of failures or
Yeah,
mistakes. So at the end of that, how you determine your success is how you make all these mistakes. Because I'll tell you one thing personally is that I for me it's kind of, it's a learning curve, and it's hard to get the no's from people. Like,
mm,
no, this is good enough, or no, don't do that, because you feel that like you've had the stream and someone just said no. But in
yeah,
saying that, are you learn from it? Because yes, this one person might think it's a failure, but you moved on to the next person and might think, bro, this is a great idea. So it's how you take it or perceive that your goal, or failures or mistakes.
yeah. Just bro, just going off that, it's like no matter what happens and whatever dream or whatever goal you have and success, bro, it's just you have to understand that that the only person that can make that happen is you. The only person that can believe in you is you. So no matter what anyone says, like you don't need approval from anyone. You just need to make sure that you get the job done and you be able to chase your dream. Because no one's gonna do it for you, bro. Like you're gonna have to do it for yourself. So only you can tell. Only you can say what's gonna happen. So when someone says a no, or someone gives you, you know, feedback or whatever, trying to drag you down, no matter what it may be, just understand that they don't dictate what you do. You're the person that dictates your goals. You choose your path. You know, so yeah.
Bruh, I love this Tylenol, man. It was a great chat. At the beginning, it was kind of nerve wracking. Like I said, anyone that jumps on, it's kind of, oh, bro, how are we gonna do this? But bro, you've made it easy, bro. Like I said, bro, you're a professional at your
Nah,
job,
bro.
and can't wait to hear more of your podcast. For the viewers or the listeners out there, how can we follow your journey, bro?
um, bro, honestly, follow my journey. Honestly, just probably keep updated, bro. One of the things that we focus on Authentic Podcast is just we just try and find people who have great influence in different communities, whether it be as a doctor, lawyer, rugby player, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter like what it is. Um, but everyone has an influence and everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has different experiences and different trials. So sometimes we need to understand, especially for Pacific people, um, which is what I've been trying to focus a lot on, is like anyone can achieve any goal if they put their mind to it, right? Um, if this person can do it, like that, my thing is, if this person can become a doctor and lawyer or whatever it may be, painter, whatever, you can too. It's just a mindset. It's just a mindset. That's all it is. And I feel like that would honestly be so good for our community, just because they see podcasts like this, like we're on as well with For the Boys podcast, other ones out in Aotearoa. Sometimes we tend to make excuses on what we do, or we feel entitled, when really all we need to do is just go to work and set a goal, make a plan, and go to work. Um, so hopefully, like, by us spreading positive vibes and set goals as a community to achieve, we can be able to better ourselves, and also inspire and uplift and strengthen our own families and individuals. So that's, I guess, yeah, that's what I can say. So
The gems of this man, bro. The gems, bro. You know, it's been a pleasure to have you on, brother. And you know, like I've said before, thank you so much for jumping on. And you know, Christmas around the corner as well as the New Year. What's the plans, bro?
um, but honestly, I'm trying to think. Like, probably just spend on my family. Um, trying to think of something to do for Christmas, like maybe, give something out, or, I don't know, just thinking of ways to give to the community, to especially with
Yeah,
with the tough time right now. That's the
100%.
goal in mind, eh? So yeah,
That's good to hear, bro. You're doing great things for not only yourself and to hear and see, you know, some of the great audio podcast and visuals that you bring out, bro. Keep doing it. And thank you for basically, you know, providing for the community, bro. It's a again pleasure to have you on.
appreciate it,
Anyway,
brother.
guys, this is for the boys podcast. I'm Teza, and you have the man Brandon Yyen, aka Authentic Podcast NZ. So you can find them at on all podcasting platforms as well as Instagram. Are you on Facebook too, brother?
Yeah, Facebook as well. Yeah, but
So you
mainly,
can
yeah,
find them everywhere, man. That's it is. So thank you, brother. I'll see you in the back, and thank you
yeah.
to the listeners for the chat for coming through. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys later.
Appreciate it, guys.